Umberto Promise kept. Horse who's had his problems hasn't raced for 18 months. What can we expect first up on Saturday?
It's always tough when you come back after a long break like this. But the horse is well. He's been very good in his trial so far. He showed something on his debut. It was on the dirt actually. I don't think there's any difference on the grass. He's okay, so let's see what happens.
Did you like the way that he finished off that most recent trial behind Refined Treasure?
Yeah, actually, his both trials they've been quite good. Actually, his horse then he can jump well. The draw will help him for sure. The situation. It's if there is a speed in the race, I think it will be up there. But I really like his last trials.
He's a 5-year-old. He's having just his second start, PPG. A lot of trainers, owners wouldn't have kept the faith with a horse who's had his problems. Is there something there that's worth persisting with, obviously?
Look, I think if Tony wants keep continuing with the horse, means then he knows there is something there. And obviously, like I say, it's a first start. And before, actually, it's a first start, his trial, they've been very good. So the horse always shows something. So I reckon if Tony will keep continue with the horse, he saw something there, and we're gonna know. Of course, after 18 months is a long break, but for sure after tomorrow we're gonna know more about him.
Regan, Mr. Poisson, nice win from him last time.
Yeah, it was, and he beat a quality field. And since that race, the form has been franked. Obviously, Racing Fighter coming out and winning on Wednesday night, and there's been some good runs behind it. So I'm happy the way he's going. He's had a trial in between, and he's ticking over lovely. And I think he'll make his presence felt for sure.
You would have liked the way that he finished off to win that trial?
Yeah, definitely. It was a lovely trial. Just let him relax early, and once I brought him to the outside and he changed his lead leg, he really was strong the last little bit. So, as I said, couldn't be happy with the way he's going, and I'm looking forward to riding him.
Does he give you the feel of a nice horse?
Yeah, he does, and he actually comes in good at the weights again. He's only got 118 to carry, so he only went up 2 or 3 pounds on his last start. So as I said, he comes in good at the weights, gives me a nice feel. He's a nice horse on the way up, and he keeps improving with each piece of work. So I'm looking forward to riding him.
Zach, everyone's joy, 2 from 2. What are your thoughts heading into the weekend with him?
Well, he's done a good job so far. He hasn't really got a turn of foot. He's a little bit one-paced. He's been lucky. He's drawn 2 good gates, and he's just had races run to suit. He's been able to get the job done, but that's all that they have to do. I think the step up in distance is going to be an asset for him, and he's got enough speed to take a nice, handy position and just keep plugging away.
Could he be closer in the run, given on paper, apart from Superwise, there doesn't look to be a heap of speed in the race?
He could be. He's been handy enough over 1200, so the step up to 1400 would suggest he could lay up.
How much more progression and improvement do you think he has?
Well, he's been a little bit unassuming because he hasn't got that turn of foot and he just keeps grinding away. He obviously doesn't give you a great feel. We thought he'd be a nice chance in a Class 4 race, but he was able to go and get the job done 2 times now. And sometimes horses like him just continue to keep raising the bar as they go along, and he's going to need to keep doing that. But he's a bit of a quiet achiever.
Uncle Steve, Zach, bit unlucky last time.
Yeah, it's not a replay I've gone back and watched. I'll keep that one in the archives and bury it in a dark place. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, I just had no room all out the straight. I just had to sit on him. The run obviously wouldn't have hurt him. He's come through it in good order. The step up to a mile I don't see as a problem. And he looks as if he's ready to go and get the job done now.
I know hypotheticals aren't easy in racing, but he was only beaten a length and a half. The way he was travelling, do you feel if you got out you would have won?
Well, you'd like to think so. He is a horse that has travelled up well behind him in the past, and when you've let him go, he hasn't produced. So you can never be sure if he was going to go and get the job done or not, but he felt like he had a little bit more there.
Just looking at the way he travelled as well too, was he a little bit keen? Was he wanting to get on the bit?
No, I thought it's probably the best he's relaxed in a race actually. It's the first time I've ridden him, but he has been a horse that at times has got quite clean, but he was in his rhythm nice. It was just, unfortunately we couldn't get a run.
And I know Beauty Generation would have helped these stats, but still the partnership between you and John Moore has been super this season.
Yeah, his stable's been going well. He's got a lot of nice horses there coming through the grades. I seem to have been the beneficiary of getting on them at the right time, and hopefully that continues. Obviously, he's pushing for the championship. He's going to need every winner he can get. Hopefully, I can keep helping him tick along.
You take on a horse in Cordyceps, Joe Moreira jumps on board. Could he prove stiff opposition for you?
Yeah, of course. He's a horse that likes to roll along. He's not a sit-and sprinter or a hold-up type of horse. He gets into his rhythm and cruises along at a nice speed, and he continues to keep finding off that. So the speed should be nice enough to allow my horse to get into a rhythm.
John Champion's Way, after his last win, you were quoted in the press as saying what he did only group horses do. You're obviously pretty impressed with that performance.
Yeah, you couldn't help but be impressed by him. He's won his 5 races quite handsomely, and I think there's more in him.
Looking at that last win, Joe had to push him along in the middle stages. Is he lazy? Does he take time to get his momentum? Was it the wet track that day? What do you put that down to?
In the run, I thought it was the ground. Yeah, I thought he might have been struggling on the wet track to travel properly. But in the past, he has shown us that he needs a bit of encouragement to get into his work. Maybe that's not a bad thing. So we'll see how he progresses as he gets a rise in class and longer distances.
And we've seen that form, Frank, by good standing, no mean feat to pick him up and run past him.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the form. It's a Class 2 race. They can all gallop in Class 2. So if you can win one of those while you're making progress, it's a pretty good sign.
What about the step up to the mile?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting way to go. He, as we say, he didn't travel very well in the 1400 last start, so hopefully the mile's suitable for him.
You must be pleased with the way that he's come on from run to run, and also mentally how he's come on in that time too, John.
Yeah, he's got a great temperament. He seems a very quiet horse. Nothing seems to bother him too much. He's typical of a good horse so far. He does everything correctly, and most of them, that's the way they present.
We're into the last couple of months of the season. It's the time of year, John, where we talk about championships and those sort of things. You've won 10. You're leading by 8 at this stage. Are you happy with your lead, or are you looking over your shoulder at this stage?
I'm always looking over my shoulder. The competition gets tougher and tougher every season. The number of wins or the lead can change very quickly. So I've just got to put my head down and keep trying to win a race and see if I remain in front.